Picture this. Two titans, a god and an alien, not as rivals, but as the closest of friends. Clark Kent, known to the world as Superman, and Thor, the god of thunder, shared a bond forged in saving the world countless times. They were brothers in arms, confidants, sharing everything from battle strategies to quiet evenings with Clark's wife, Lois Lane. The three of them were inseparable, a picture of perfect camaraderie. Clark trusted Thor implicitly, not just with the safety of the planet, but with the safety of his heart and the woman who held it. He'd often leave Metropolis in Thor's capable hands when duty called him to the far reaches of the galaxy, knowing everything he cherished was safe. That trust, so pure and absolute, was the foundation of their world. But even the strongest foundations can crack. It all started subtly, a lingering glance between Lois and Thor that lasted a second too long. A shared joke that Clark wasn't quite in on. He dismissed it at first. It was Thor, his best friend. It was Lois, the love of his life. The late-night calls Lois claimed were from her editor, the sudden work trips that coincided with Thor's visits to Midgard. He wanted to be wrong. He prayed he was just being paranoid, that the weight of the world was finally getting to him. But the evidence was piling up, a mountain of deceit he could no longer ignore. Not just voices, but the unmistakable sound of laughter, intimate and carefree. Through the window, he saw a scene that shattered his universe into a million pieces. Lois, wrapped in Thor's powerful arms, their lips meeting in a passionate kiss. The flowers fell from Clark's hand, their vibrant colors a stark contrast to the gray emptiness that instantly consumed him. The world's strongest man had never felt so weak, so utterly broken. The betrayal was a physical blow, knocking the air from his lungs, leaving him gasping in a world that had suddenly lost all color and meaning. He went through the motions of being Superman, saving people, stopping disasters, but his heart wasn't in it. The famous smile was gone, replaced by a stoic mask that hid a maelstrom of pain and fury. He couldn't look at Lois, couldn't speak to Thor. The silence in their home was deafening. Lois tried to talk to him, her eyes filled with a guilt he could no longer bear to see. Thor tried to reach out, oblivious to the fact that Clark knew everything. Every call, every text from the god of thunder felt like another twist of the knife. Clark replayed the scene in his mind 1,000 times. The image of their kiss burned onto his retinas. He wanted Thor to feel even a fraction of the agony that was tearing him apart. The first punch from Superman sent Thor flying across the lunar dust, the impact shaking the very ground beneath them. It wasn't a hero's blow. It was raw, fueled by heartbreak and a fury that eclipsed the sun. Thor retaliated, summoning Mjolnir, but his heart wasn't in the fight. This wasn't a battle for the fate of the universe. It was the tragic, violent end of a brotherhood. Guilt was his anchor, dragging him down, slowing his every move. Superman, on the other hand, was untethered, a force of nature with a singular, destructive purpose. He was a heart broken and burning for retribution. In the end, it was not a question of power, but of will. Thor, battered and bruised, lay in the crater of a shattered moonlit. He could have continued fighting, but for what? He had already lost. He dropped Mjolnir. It clattered softly in the cosmic dust. He had no right to wield it against this man. Superman stood over him, his fist raised for the final, decisive blow. His eyes glowed with furious red energy. The universe held its breath. This was it. The moment of vengeance. But as he looked down at his defeated friend, his brother, he saw not a villain, but a flawed man, just like any other. The rage, which had burned so brightly, began to flicker. Lowering his fist, Superman turned his back on Thor. The fight was over. He had won, but it was the hollowest of victories. Nothing had changed. The betrayal still stung. The heartbreak was still a gaping wound. Beating Thor into submission hadn't healed him. It had only deepened the scars. Without another word, he flew away, leaving Thor alone in the silence of space, surrounded by the wreckage of their friendship and the celestial bodies they had shattered. He was the victor, the strongest being, but he was more alone than ever before. He had proven his strength, but in doing so, he had lost a part of his own humanity. Returning to Earth, Clark Kent faced a different kind of void. His apartment was empty. Lois was gone, leaving only a simple note on the kitchen counter. It was a confession, an apology, a farewell. He read it, his face impassive. The words couldn't hurt him anymore. He had purged his emotions in the fires of battle, and all that remained was a cold, quiet emptiness. He looked out the window at the city he protected, the world he had saved so many times. He was Superman, a symbol of hope and justice. But Clark Kent, the man who loved and trusted, was gone, lost somewhere among the shattered moons and broken promises. The sun set over Metropolis, and for the first time, its greatest protector felt the encroaching darkness. Not from an alien threat, but from within his own broken heart. He was a god among men, alone with his victory and his pain.